Oops.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Expected Bets for possibly our last one of the season. A little bittersweet, Game 5 of the Cup Finals takes place tonight. But before we get into that, Betsky, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean,
It's weird, isn't it?
It is, and if this is mirroring the NBA playoffs, then this should be it, right? But an 8-1 spanking is something else. And you sent us a tweet about what the Edmonton's record looks like after they've lost 3 in a row. So this could get interesting.
It could. It very well could. Yeah. I mean, it feels weird. It feels like there's not a ton of hype around tonight's game. I don't know if that's just me or if that's kind of the overall feeling, but the draft talk has really picked up. Free agency has kind of crept in to the Stanley Cup Finals. I feel like the delay time, specifically between games, has kind of shot any momentum down. If it was a 2-game kind of break, let's say after game 4, Edmonton gains some momentum and you're like, okay, maybe they got a chance here. But the 3-game delay feels like it really just puts any sort of positive momentum that Edmonton has going forward just to bed. I don't know about you, but that's kind of how it seems like to me.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah, it's interesting, Franco. But before we get into that, how we doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I agree with you. It feels like there's no hype, and everybody seems to think tonight's just inevitable that the Panthers are going to win and series is over. So we'll see. I mean, that seems like the right idea, but maybe Edmonton has one more in them. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll see. With that being said, let's head into game 1. Or game 5, excuse me, of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Taking it back.
Yeah, it's been one of those days, just getting over a cold. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. You mentioned that it feels inevitable, and the money line has certainly kind of been indicative of that. Last night, Florida was minus 135 on the money line. I kind of had it penciled in. There was going to write him in. 135, I thought was a great price for Florida in the spot. Now you're looking at minus 155. That over hasn't moved at all at 5.5. So it now kind of brings in a little bit more aspects of just a straight money line bet on the Florida Panthers. But before I kind of delve into what I'm thinking, Franco, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts here on how you're going to approach Game 5?
Yeah, sides and totals, I'm probably going to lay off completely. Like you said, that minus 135 was pretty playable. At this point, no way. And I'm even seeing on DK right now minus 162. So clearly, like I said,
it keeps going up.
I think the sentiment in general seems to be that like you said, Betsky, it's going to mirror the NBA where Dallas blew them out in Game 4, just like Edmonton blew out Florida in Game 4, and now we're just going to see Florida, the team that should, or everybody feels like should win the Stanley Cup, close it out probably in pretty dominant fashion. So I mean, maybe you just take the puck line or something like that. But I'm going to lay off. As far as the totals and the sides go, I'm not seeing much value there.
Yeah, Betsky, how about you? Are you looking at any sides or totals tonight?
If you had to pull my arm, maybe the Panthers puck line, because if this is a 3-2 game in the third, imagine there's going to be a lengthy empty net sequence. But we haven't seen many empty nets all throughout the Stanley Cups.
No.
So, I mean, the entire, like every series, it just feels really rare. It seems like obviously teams are playing much more conservative in empty net situations and aren't trying to go for the goal. They're trying to go get the puck deep and then hopefully not ice it, maybe Panthers and Reg is an option too.
That
If
was
you're
my
like
other thought.
really having to want to take a side here, that probably is going to give you the most value. Haven't seen many overtimes, just like we haven't seen many empty net goals. It seems like a lot of games are ending in Reg and a lot of games by 1 goal.
Yeah, I saw the in Reg line when it was at -155 was even money, and it still is. So I guess that does have some value there. If you're not looking to play that puck line, you can look at Reg at even money. I was messing around on FanDuel earlier, and this kind of caught my attention of Panthers money line, and the alternate under at 6.5 is +150. To me, that's kind of my script of how this game goes. We saw the first 2 games in Florida. Both stayed under the total here. I think Florida has those home matchups, which has been the difference maker in the series, and they're going to have it again tonight. I think Barkov really shuts down that McDavid line, and I think Florida eventually pulls this off. So at +150, that's kind of the side/total parlay that I'm going to go with tonight. But moving forward, any player props that you're looking at, Betsky?
Tarasenko up to 3 shots looks interesting. He's been shooting quite a bit. He's hit his 1.5, which is his actual line, I think 8 straight. So volumes there. I think he's around 5 shot attempts over the last 10. He's hit that 3 line in, I believe, 5 of those last 8 games and 3 of the 4 games this series. When you're talking about kind of those matchups at home, this third line is just getting butter soft matches. I mean, the bottom 6 for Edmonton is just not at the same caliber as Florida here. They're trotting out Tarasenko, who used to be an all-star on the cover of EA NHL, 2018? If I got that right, somebody owes me a beer. And
that'd be an incredible poll.
And Lundell, who's got some fresh legs, and Listeranian. I mean, it's just been a nightmare for Edmonton to fend off that line. Tarasenko and Lundell have as many points as Barkov with 4 this series.
You were close. So, you're off by 1 year.
So then it would be 19, huh?
2017.
17, damn.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, you were so
when
close.
When did the Blues win the Cup?
Not till after.
Yeah.
Like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking it was the year after he won the Cup. I guess that would have been more of like a Pietrangelo.
No, because I don't think Binnington was on. When did Binnington join the team? That was his rookie year.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been on that team back.
Yeah. So I do like that Tarasenko play. Even Lundell in that line too, in terms of points. I think there's some value there as well. So I don't hate that look.
Yeah, I like both of them for a point too. I mean, if again the points, in this type of game, I may lean towards something a little bit quote unquote safer or chalky here. I have not taken Lundell or Tarasenko for a point yet. I could be convinced to, though, of course.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, too. I mean, last series when Tarasenko was facing his former team and the Rangers, we looked at his over 1.5 shots on goal mark and saying, hey, maybe he does something here. And I think he went under pretty much in 4 of those games. He wasn't great by any means. And then you're right. I think the third line matchup against Edmonton is just so much more advantageous. So that does make sense, but you were kind of waiting for him to get going. And I guess this is the series that he did. So, Franco, any player props that you're looking at tonight?
Yeah, I like Tarasenko as well. I kind of want to get in on that 1.5 line. I know it's obviously a juiced piece, so I like that as a parlay piece.
Yeah.
One person I'm looking to parlay him with is Rodriguez. I like both of them at 2. If you're gonna go the in reg on FanDuel, that's +145. I mean, I think we can all agree that this is probably not going to go to overtime. So I don't mind. These are the types of games I think at this point that I don't mind getting that extra value on the in reg lines. Just something to kind of consider. Otherwise, I feel like it's one of those things we're going to see where I feel like we're too little, too late on his point props. You know, I think we were seeing him at like +180, +190. Upwards of like that type of number in the first couple of games, and obviously he's recording a point in 4 straight games now. So I kind of am worried that this, we'll hop on him now, Tarasenko, and then this is the game he misses.
I know.
But I mean, at plus 140, that feels damn good for as productive as he's been. So I want to consider it for sure. I think going back to Bennett's probably not a bad idea either for a point. I mean, that value is still there. It's plus 110, plus 105 or whatever. So good value there. And then on the Edmonton side, McDavid 2 points is plus 100.
Yep.
Hitting 2 straight.
3 in the series, right? No. I'm sorry. I take that back.
Yeah, two and two in the series. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's now or never, right? And if you're going to be that guy, I think there's 2 game scripts, right? So if Edmonton wins, it feels like it's an over. If Florida wins, it feels like it's an under, probably. So again, it kind of depends on your game script, but I could still see Edmonton scoring 2 goals. And if that's the case, McDavid is always going to have a shot there. So I don't mind it just for the pure value there. Just when do you ever see McDavid plus 100 for 2 points? So
yeah. No, that's fair. Bobrovsky obviously got pulled in game 4, so his performance could be a little questionable tonight, but we've seen him rebound in the past. In game 4 of their first round series versus Tampa Bay, he allowed 6 goals. In the next, he only allowed 1. In the first game of their second round series versus Boston, where he allowed 4 or 5, he only allowed 1 the next game. So he's proven that he can rebound. And yeah, I think if you're going to look at Edmonton props tonight, McDavid's your guy. One prop that I have that I usually don't kind of play unders here is Alexander Barkov under 2.5 shots on goal. He hasn't hit in any game this series. And I think tonight specifically, he takes on much more of a defensive role, just kind of tailing McDavid around the ice. And that's going to be their kind of mindset tonight, is just shut him down and the rest will kind of fall into place with Edmonton's depth. I know the past 2 games, they've actually gotten depth scoring, which is something they really haven't been able to say this entire playoff series. And it was almost ironic that game 3, when they did get all that depth scoring, they lost.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, they finally happens, but McDavid and Draisaitl don't really get on the board, maybe 1 point apiece. And yeah, they end up losing. So I like Barkov under 2.5 shots on goal at minus 135. I think Reinhart and Rodriguez are going to be the main offensive playmakers on that line tonight. And then Kachuk over 2.5, minus 166. That line's so tough to bet straight. So you're almost looking at something to parlay with. I don't mind that Tarasenko over 1.5. I haven't checked out those odds on that, but that was where I was leaning. And then Bennett point again, Franco. I like that play as well. Any other props that you guys are looking at tonight, or what's your overall game script tonight? We'll do this overall game script and then the final score. Start with you here, Betsky.
I think we're going to see more goals again. And
really,
I think Edmonton may take this. So,
wow,
give me 4-3, Edmonton.
Wow,
yeah,
that would be something, huh?
Yeah, and I think Edmonton may come out hot right out the gates, and I think this will be kind of like game 2, but not with the outcome of game 2.
Okay. All right.
Franco, I don't know.
Are you kind of echoing Betsky's upset prediction, or are you going the opposite way?
Well, should I say what I want to happen? What I think is going to happen? I mean, so I really would like Edmonton to win. That's going to be like my rooting interest, so to speak, I guess, in this game. So hopefully that is the outcome, Betsky. I don't know. I think 3-2 Florida is what I think, if I'm going based on my gut instinct on this. But I really am hopeful that Edmonton can win this one. I have futures on the six or 7 games. I have a Barkov future. I have a McDavid future. So anything that's going to help like sink Bob a little bit more lower in there and that, I still think Barkov could win it regardless of this outcome in this game. But yeah, I mean, that's where my rooting interests are going to be in this game, because I just have a lot of stuff tied into futures. So again, going light on the sides, but that 3-2 feels about right. And I think I agree with the idea that like we just haven't seen a lot of empty netters, and teams seem to be just, instead of taking that shot down the ice, even when they're on their own blue line, they get a steal or something, instead of shooting, they're just saying, screw it, just a little flub, that's not going to get all the way down the ice and kill more time, kill that 30 seconds. So
would this be a crazy thought? Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe is even money right now. Is that just another way of backing Florida tonight? You have to figure if Florida wins tonight and they do win the Stanley Cup, he's going to be a part of it. Or is Barkov at even money as well enough of a consideration to kind of persuade you off that?
That is a really interesting way to play Florida tonight, because I saw some talk of how McDavid still should be under the conversation even if the Oilers lose. I don't think that would be the case if they lose tonight. If Edmonton brings it back home and McDavid puts up 4 more assists, and by the end of the series, even in a loss, he overtakes Gretzky's points in a playoff series or playoffs run record, or his assist record, or if he is taking down Gretzky in any of those playoff categories, even if the Edmonton Oilers lose, I could see McDavid taking it.
Well, so, he already took the assist record.
Did he? I thought he was one behind or so. Or
I thought he passed it the last game.
Yeah.
And then
no, he did.
Yep. Yeah, maybe I forget how far off he is of the points, but
the points is a little kind of far. It's like
and a 4-1, a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah,
I think that also plays in it. But yeah, I just saw that line of Bobrovsky at even money right now, and I think that's the same thing as taking Florida money line tonight. Because you have to figure if they win tonight, he's involved and plays a decent game.
I was reading some stuff this morning. Like I said, I have that Barkov future where they're saying, some people are saying a lot of voters believe that Barkov should win it just because of what he's done throughout the playoffs. And Bobrovsky's save percentage overall hasn't been fantastic over the course of the entire playoffs. Obviously, before that last game, it was really great in this Edmonton series, but it's supposed to be a whole entire playoff trophy. So his overall save percentage was not that high because Florida was really limiting shots. Like there were a lot of games where he only had 19 or 20 shots against. So giving up 3 goals or 2 goals and winning isn't going to look as good on the stat line. So they're comparing him to like Tim Thomas and Wah and other guys that had won the Conn Smythe as a goalie, and his save percentage was like around 900, whereas they were like 0.94. So it's a pretty significant difference. So just something to consider. Obviously, if he shuts them out today, or if it's 4-1, then he probably wins it. But if it's like a 4-3 win or something like that, it could go either way, especially if Barkov gets a goal or something like that. So I think it's a lot more even than what a lot of people are thinking, despite what we saw the odds at just a game ago.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Especially the odds reflect that right now, as they're both even money to win. So that's a great point. Any other closing thoughts here? I know a lot of people are on Bobrovsky over 25.5 saves tonight. Is that a toss for you guys? Any consideration of playing that?
Man, he's the Prize Picks taco too. I took him on the taco, and that scratches that itch. That's enough for me.
There it is.
That's one of those things too. I feel like always have been so sharp. Yeah. He's gonna land on 25.
Oh, I know. When that happened to Skinner the other day, that was when it.
Yeah, I'm done with it. Wait till next year when we can bet on like the Sharks or the Ducks or something stupid.
Yeah. Well, the Ducks New Jersey is actually pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys saw those.
Did they release them? I saw
they got leaked. I know
painted a bunch of orange again, and people.
Yeah, but it's better than what they had before.
Yeah. I didn't see them. I just saw like the preview thing, which was just like covered up. But
we can get to that.
I did. I think I did see that. Preview. It was.
Hey man, like as fun as the season has been and the Stanley Cup playoffs has been, like I was thinking about the other day, I've been looking through some of my old recaps and stuff, and it's like I'm kind of longing for some shitty hockey like that, some shitty teams, so you can actually like find some edges, man. Like it's like these games are so tight and so difficult to actually find like something you feel fantastic about, right? Like we can say whatever we want about any of these games, and it's just like these lines are sharp and everything's narrowed down so hard and hammered down so hard. Like, would you be betting this game if you had more games to choose from?
If it was a 6-game slate?
No. Yeah, exactly. You're like, this is going to be a great game to watch, but I don't have any plays in this game because, Columbus plays the Sharks, and there's gonna be like 10 goals in that game.
December 19th on a Tuesday, Columbus Anaheim at 10:30, and you're dying for it. You're like,
I mean, I cannot wait for that. It's like so stupid to say right now, but oh man, but that's something I was thinking about earlier.
Yeah. Well, if this is our last show of the season, we appreciate Evan for tuning in. Again, the support has been tremendous this year. It's been awesome to kind of get more comments and involved with the audience. Maybe we'll do a draft show. DraftKings has started to put out a ton more props, especially in the past 2 seasons in terms of overall NHL draft betting. So, and I know, Betsky, you have your project Clean Hits that you guys are doing a bunch of stuff on as well.
Yeah.
So
I've been tracking because FanDuel only has 2 bets right now. It's the number 2 pick and the number 5 pick. Number 2 is pretty locked into Levshunov, even though now Demidov clocked in at that like secret Russian combine pretty well and was taller than people thought and said he wasn't going to play in the KHL after next season.
Yeah.
So that may change a little bit, but last week I've been monitoring the pick number 5 and took Senecki at plus 500 early last week. Then kind of the talk of Demidov to Montreal started really kicking up, and he was like plus 260 kind of near the end of last week. Now he is, I think, plus 300 and something, and Senecki has moved to plus 270. So Senecki got cut in half. Demidov dropped, which to me means Demidov is going before number 5. And Montreal really wanting a winger will probably pick either Iginla or Senecki.
Yeah.
Just a little tidbit of maybe what we could do.
A little sprinkle right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a fun show. I mean, there's even matchups right now, first to be drafted in these prospects, which is a market I haven't seen before. DraftKings offer in terms of the NHL draft, which is fun to do. So maybe we'll do that. But all right, let's close this out. You guys want to shout out your socials one last time here?
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Frank for the Banker on Twitter.
And then Gretzky Betsky's on Twitter, part of the Parlay Science Discord and the Clean Hits blog.
Yeah, you just keep adding more titles here. Yeah. I was going to say, we got to get like a poster board or something that you can just hold up. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at Gator Betting and our podcast at Expected Bets 4. We appreciate Evan for tuning in, and best of luck in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight.